Hello and welcome to the Ferra Film Podcast. Today we have Uwais joining us today. Welcome to the show.
Hi, I'm glad to be here.
It's awesome to have you. You want to introduce yourself just in case some people don't know you?
Oh, okay, yeah, my name is Uwais. I'm from the YouTube channel Red Alert. I make all sorts of stuff really. I initially used to make headphone tutorials, but now I make stuff like filmmaking tutorials, video essays, and basically anything that pops off my head. Yeah, essentially.
Yeah, so I watched your short film. Honestly, a phenomenal job, honestly.
Thank you. Thank you, yeah. I really appreciate that.
Yeah, it was good. So what were the challenges for you for the short film?
Well, I was the normally what I try to do is I try to make at least one short film per year because that's about the only time I really have to make a project the size of a short film, putting in all of that effort because it takes the most amount of effort to make a proper short film. And that was actually my second short film in the year, but previously prior to that I made another one and it completely fell apart. It failed. I didn't upload it, and this was sort of my second attempt to make something better. So the challenges that I really faced with were challenges I had already tried to preemptively nip in the bud. So, like, for example, in the previous film, we shot it at night and I didn't have sufficient lighting. So at this time, I don't know why, there's something about me. I can't write a script that takes place during the day. I don't understand how my brain works like that, but I'm always writing stuff that happens at night. So once again, I did that. But I tried to fix those challenges when it comes to the lighting. That was my main issue, really. So I brought more lights and I went ahead of the time to the location and scouted it out and did some lighting tests, etc., etc. And it really helped. And I think it really all comes down to the point of you only learn as you actually do it. Like you can watch as many tutorials, as many filmmaking videos as you want, but until you actually take all of that knowledge and do make actually create something with it, then you'll experience the challenges. And when you get those challenges out of the way, you keep learning from them.
Yeah, I would say that's the same for me. Like how
Yeah.
many tutorials I watch and I actually do it, and I always have. I mean, it's always problem every time it's that like everyone face.
Always.
Yeah, there's always.
Yeah, all part of the process.
Yep, in the filmmaking production.
Yeah.
So, how many days was production?
Well, for that one, it was actually just 2 days, 2 nights,
Okay.
but not 2 full days though. So because the crew I was working with were just friends, they were lending me their time doing it for free. Well, I did give them donuts, but that doesn't really count as pay. So it was like just a few hours. It was about 4 hours on day one or night one, and it was about three and a half on night two. So really, really tight. But that was the best I could really do
Yeah,
with
it's
what I
the
had.
it's the best to make friends with your like movie with your friends. I do the same also. I love it.
Yeah, yeah, it definitely has its challenges.
Yep.
Um,
Yep.
because a lot of the times, what I was thinking about the other day actually was when I uploaded it. What I'm left with is that none of my friends actually are filmmakers. They don't actually do it themselves. So it's like I inform them about it and I ask you want to be part of it. So literally the only thing they're doing is acting, and there's not many people that want to actually do it, or you're comfortable allowing them, like, or you want them to do it. So you have like I had those two, I had my two of my actors to do it with, and at the end of the day, whether they are good at acting or bad at acting, it doesn't matter. That's what you have to work with. And I was really lucky that they could pull it off, because if they couldn't, th- there would be no film, essentially.
Yeah, yeah, true. Yeah, a lot of
Mm,
my friends are they're not filmmakers here, but hey, they're actors, so they would
yeah.
love to be on the project. Yeah. So, what was your best moment of making the film?
Best moment. I can tell you a lot of bad moments.
Oh, we can start with
uh,
that. Yeah, go ahead.
best moment though, I would say though, is I guess throughout. You mean on production day or as a whole?
I mean, like if there was like a specific moment, like you're like,
Um.
or if you want to go whole,
Well.
go ahead.
Oh yeah. So I don't a specific moment. I don't really have, because I don't. I think this applies to really everybody. But at the end of production, you're never ever left with the exact thing that you envisioned or that you wanted. It's always it's never better. I don't know if this happens to you also, but it's such an exciting process leading up to production. Like I made a whole video talking about how script writing and that whole pre-production process is the most exciting part because you have the most perfect vision in your head. And on the day when you're actually shooting, everything's going wrong. And afterwards in post, you're fixing all these problems and it's not looking how you actually envisioned it. And afterwards, you're left with a product that isn't exactly what you saw and intended. And the best part, I would say, is that because I'm feeling that way after the production and I'm thinking, this is totally not what I wanted. It totally didn't go the way I envisioned it because none of these problems would exist. And the best part, I think, is seeing other people who watch it and think it's literally the greatest thing ever that you've ever made, even though in your own head, it's like subpar. So I think that would be the best part for me.
Yeah, I would say that's the same for me also, because I recently like uploaded like a short film, and like it's doing good. It's like in the same head in my head, like it's something, but it's like it's not what I envisioned.
Yeah.
I can get that. Because I visit a whole new story for that short film, but it only had to be like a minute long, so I had to cut a lot of stuff off.
Yeah, I think those are also restraints that come into place that other people who don't know what happened before the film, like what it took to make it, they don't really know about those things. So for them, it's a pure experience. And for you, it's like you know the whole backstory, or all the problems, all of the constraints that led up to making it. So it's sort of like your vision of it is tainted, but theirs is like clean slate. It's interesting.
So, do you have a favorite movie or TV show right now?
I have many favorite movies. TV shows.
Yeah, me too.
For movies, I always like I don't know. People always ask me what's my favorite movie, and I can never give them a straight answer. So I always just list off a few. Like I say, I don't know, The Dark Knight is one of my top movies of all time. As I'm speaking, I'm looking at my shelf, looking at movies to pick from. It's probably The Dark Knight, off the top of my head, The Dark Knight. Jaws is up there. The Karate Kid is up there. Yeah, I've got a Return of the Jedi post. I'm sure you've seen it in videos on my wall, and Back to the Future. So yeah, The Dark Knight, Back to the Future, The Karate Kid, Star Wars, stuff like that. TV shows that I'm currently watching. Well, this is moment. Like I just was actually watching it like earlier this morning. I was watching. I don't know if you heard about that new show called The Boys on Amazon.
Oh yeah, I heard about that.
It's fantastic, dude. You need. That is fantastic. Carl Urban is a badass. Okay, whoa, I have never. That show, flipping, it's blowing my mind right as I'm watching it. I'm like, I've burned through like 6 episodes already. It's freaking amazing. It's so different compared to other superhero things, and that's my main gripe. I could talk for hours about this, but people always say every time a new superhero thing comes out, they say it's completely different, and it's like when Deadpool came out, completely different. When Avengers came out, completely different. When all these different things, but for this one, it's legitimately different because they literally threw everything out the window, and are basically, it's like a satire, and it's quite fun, yeah.
Yeah,
You should definitely check it out.
Yeah, I was definitely gonna check it out tonight. Yeah. Yeah, it's like I honestly I'm the same also. Plus my room is like covered in posters galore, so it's like, oh, what's my favorite movie? Because I work at a movie theater, so.
Oh, that's the best.
Yeah, I control all the projectors.
Oh, that's cool. Do you have like film projectors or like digital or?
It's like it comes in like a hard drive, and then like we have to adjust it to the projector.
Actually, now that I have you here, I have some questions. Okay, I have some questions when it comes to movie theaters.
Okay.
So how does that work? Like,
Yep.
do you get the hard drives from the actual studios sent to you, or like how does that work?
So we get them from the actual studio, and the studio provides us like a email, and then they like that's how we unlock everything. Because once we get the film, it's locked.
Oh.
So like it goes for a whole process of unlocking it.
So you get it obviously. Like how long before the movie actually releases do you get the actual film?
We get like a while ahead. Like I would say like maybe like a couple days ahead, or sometimes like a week ahead. It all depends on the
Oh. Now, how does it feel holding Avengers Endgame in your hand, knowing you can't watch it?
It felt good. It's like I saw it on the shelf. It was like,
whoa, that must be trippy. Whoa. Like everything the world wants to watch is on that shelf, but nope, you have to wait. And when do you because you control like the projectors, don't you think the movie's sort of spoiled for you then because you're up there in the box?
Well, everything runs itself. So like everything runs with a computer. So long as the computer's
So
on, like I just
so yeah,
want. Oh, yeah, go ahead.
oh yeah. So are you watching the movie then while it's playing?
Yeah, sometimes it's like I usually watch it if like something happens. I don't like to watch it from the window because it's like, like it's like you're just standing in front of a window.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you want to enjoy it.
yeah, I want to enjoy it in the theater. So
Mm. Oh. Because I'm assuming like if you want to enjoy it in the theater, but you have to play it before you can actually watch it, then it's like you're gonna have to, or like I don't know, leave the room or something,
yeah, yeah,
and you
yeah,
can't do that
yeah.
because you have to control it. Interesting. It's very interesting. Always wanted to work at a movie theater. I don't know. Maybe it'll happen.
So do you have any plans going forward for you or like Red Alert?
Um. Well, I have lots of short term plans. Like I try to plan. I've been off of the channel for quite a few months, like about I don't know 6 months or something, because school's really hectic right now. But now that I'm back into it, I feel like once I made that first video and I got back into it, it's like the creative cycle is starting up again, and I start to plan for week by week. So like I will like bulk shoot videos because I don't really have time to set up everything. I don't have a studio, so I'm setting up everything in my room. So I set up everything and I shoot a bunch of videos, and then that serves as the next few weeks of videos. So I plan week by week what I want to do. As far as big things concerned, the channel is now at 9 point almost 3, I think 9.3k. So it's almost at 10,000, and 10,000 is like always been my biggest goal. I wanted people aim for 100 and aim for like 10 million or a million or something. It's like my biggest goal has always been 10. It's like after 10 I can die happy. It's okay. Like 10,000, that's what I wanted. And so once it hits 10,000, I really want to do like something big, like a short film competition. Like I have a bunch of like affiliate programs with companies, Action VFX, Artlist, Hitfilm, all that. So I want to like do the best I can to make the biggest prize pool or package that I can come up with, and not just like the same amount of prizes everyone else does, but like smaller prizes also, so that a lot of people can walk away with something. And I want to do like a really cool competition. So that's one of my biggest goal right now, I guess, is getting to 10k and doing that.
Yeah, dude, I'll do it.
Yeah, I hope you'd enter it, dude. I think you'd have a good chance.
So what's your favorite part in the whole like making the film, like in general?
um Making a film, I don't know, I would say the script writing part. Getting the idea, writing it down, going through multiple drafts, making storyboards or looking for inspiration. But all of that, like not exactly the whole pre-production process, because a lot of the pre-production process comes into planning and like getting actors on set and like organizing locations, and that's just stressful because it feels like the film is falling apart half the time. But the creative part of it, I would say, like writing the script, because there's like a lot of the times when I'm really excited about something and I have this idea, it's like at night I will play the whole thing through my head over and over and over. It'd be like when I'm lying in my bed, and like for a few nights and like weeks that happens, and over time the film forms itself. So I'll wake up and immediately go write something else and change some stuff. That's the best part, I think, because I'm essentially getting to preview my film in my head, but in the most perfect sense. And that's the only time it's going to be in that form, because once I start making it, it takes on a completely new form. Like it becomes something else. It becomes something that's not exactly as perfect as it necessarily was in my head, if that makes sense. So yeah, I guess the initial stage is my favorite part.
Yeah, I would say that's my favorite stage also because like you're creating something that's like a fictional like film, which is honestly my favorite
Yeah,
part about script writing. I love it, and storyboarding honestly,
yeah,
and actually come up with the idea and then start and then get prepared to do it. Honestly, those are my favorite parts about being a filmmaker.
yeah. It's really energetic when it comes to your creative thought process,
Yeah, definitely.
and that's just fun.
It's like it's my
Yeah,
it's my baby. You got
yeah. It is definitely.
yeah, gotta love it. Take care of it.
Yeah. Don't drop it.
Yeah, don't drop it. So, who's the person that you look up to for a filmmaker?
It'll sound really obvious, but Tom Cruise probably.
Tom Cruise, yes. Dude, I love the Mission Impossible film.
I freaking love Tom Cruise, man. I've been watching the new Top Gun trailer every single day since it came out. I mean,
dude, I saw that trailer. I was like, yo, like this is awesome. God.
The man can do no wrong in his old age. He's not even that old, but he's old compared to everyone else. And if I'm that, how old is he? Is he? What? I don't know. What is he? 50, 60? I don't know.
I think he was in his 50s.
He's old.
I think
he's in his 50s. I think.
And
I don't know about you, but I don't think I'll be able to jump out of a plane when I'm 20. So I don't know how I'm gonna do it at 50. And it's just like his whole energy behind movies.
He's 57.
57. Yeah.
Yeah, he's 57.
No, man. That's hectic.
I wouldn't have the guts to do it.
Yeah, because the guts, like, he's got such a drive for making movies. And he's like from an era of like, that era of like where movie stars propelled the films. Nowadays, it's like the film propels the movie star. Whereas back then, it was like Stallone, Schwarzenegger. It was like, Stallone's in a new movie, you got to watch Stallone. Whatever movie he's in, doesn't matter as long as you get to see Stallone. Like that. It's the same thing now with Tom Cruise. It's like Tom Cruise, Mission Impossible. Tom Cruise, Top Gun. Tom Cruise, Edge of Tomorrow. It's like he's one of those classic movie stars. And he's always been that. He's adapted with the times. And it's just, he doesn't stop. I watched the behind the scenes of like Mission Impossible Fallout, which obviously if you've seen my video, I love that movie. Too. It's like amazing. So, like just...
Dude, I love that movie too.
Yeah, it's just his drive, man. It's inspiring to see that. It's like you want to make movies when you see that.
Yeah, definitely. And it's crazy, like, he does everything himself. Like, I remember, like, I don't know if you remember this scene, but it's like when he had, like, the knife, like, almost, like, you know, like, directly, like...
in his eye, yeah.
He had to tie the rope. Yeah, he had to tie the rope for the knife doesn't go through his eye.
Yeah.
But, like, the string, it was holding back from a string. So it's like...
Yeah,
if anything were to go wrong.
I feel like there's something wrong with him, but I like it.
Dude, me too, honestly.
He's insane, man. He's crazy, but I like it.
Like, I wouldn't have the guts to do all that, honestly. I don't know how he does it.
No ways, no guts.
Yeah, no guts. Like, oh, we're going to drop out of a plane. Nope, not doing that.
Nope. Yeah. You can throw the stunt guy out of the plane. Yeah. I'm good.
Yeah, the stunt guy got this.
Just CGI that stuff for me.
Yeah, just CGI me. Yeah, so what was the gear and equipment that you use for production for that film?
It's actually the same equipment I use for my my videos. My Canon 700D. I think it's called a T5i in the States. And I used my standard 18 to 55 lens. A lot of people crap on that lens, but I like it a lot. It's a lot of range in that lens. There was a couple of shots where I used the 50mm lens, just because I wanted a lot more depth of field and light. Like the opening shot of the film, where you kind of see like my character in like a daze. That I shot in a 50mm to get like really, really blurred out background. It's a 1.8 aperture, so like it gets a lot of light in there, so it blurs it out, so it looks more trippy. Lights, I use some. They are the lights that are actually in one of my videos. I talked about them. They're like, I forgot what they're called, Young Nuo something. They're basically standard LED panels, like 125 bulb LED panels. I used 2 of those. I also used for sound, I used my Rode Video Micro, which I fed into my, I used my iPad as like a recording device to get the external sound files. And the last piece I used was, besides obviously tripods and stuff, I used my, I can't get to the name of it now. It's one of those gimbal stabilizer electronic ones.
Oh yeah, I saw that gimbal behind the scene. I know what you're talking about. I know
yes.
What it is.
Yeah, that one. That one is really, it's, sometimes it works really well and sometimes it just doesn't behave. But and sometimes like the battery would die, and when the battery starts getting low, what it does is it's like during a movement, suddenly the camera just snaps away into a different position, and it ruins the whole take. Like the last shot of the film, where my character's on the floor, just sitting down, and then he gets up and walks out. Or he gets up, like he like clicks the gun and all that stuff, and then he walks out. That was supposed to be one shot. Like the camera's supposed to be down, then it goes up with the character, and then it turns as he goes out. But on the turn, it snaps away because something was happening with the battery, or it wasn't stabilized. So we needed to cut it into two parts. So the getting up part was one, and then we cut to another shot of walking out. But, like those are types of like stuff I had to solve on set because it was really running out of time, and I couldn't get that perfect shot that I wanted, the one take there. But otherwise, the gimbal served really well because it really smoothed out shots a lot. And that failed short film I told you about, I used it majority in there. That failed short film, I was way too ambitious. Like, I wanted to shoot. I shot for that film. I shot the opening shot of that film, where a character walks from the outside of a house into the house, all the way through the house, up the stairs, into a room, back out into another room in one take using that gimbal at night. So you can tell what a disaster it was to light that long 3-minute shot. Like I go back and be like, slap myself and be like, what the hell are you thinking? What do you think you are? Like some, you don't have a big budget or crew to do this. Like you're not Film Riot or something. You can't do that. So, that's why I kind of fell apart. But yeah, that gimbal really helped a lot. That's basically the equipment.
I would say that's the same for me also. That's the funny thing, like the end shot for me, like running, the scene while I was running the end of my short film, like the gimbal did snap,
Yeah.
so we had to like improvise on it. But I was
Yeah,
going for like
that's
a
the thing.
yeah, so it didn't really it snapped to the other way, and then I had to do multiple takes of me running.
Yeah, that must have
Okay.
been tiring.
Yeah. Uh, so what's your advice about being like a filmmaker to like any new filmmakers out there?
um, well, what I would say is that the biggest resource that you have, like, as anyone right now, is YouTube. Like everything I learned about everything that I do, like every single thing, everything I know about cameras, everything I know about techniques, filmmaking, as a whole, it's just from YouTube, from the internet, from learning online. So the best thing I would say is that just suck up all the knowledge you can. Watch as many channels as you can, from all different subscriber amounts. Doesn't mean you have to watch the biggest channels only. Watch all of what you can, learn what you can, practice what you can, and you don't necessarily need the equipment to do that. If it comes eventually, it does. But at the start, I would say just absorb all that knowledge, teach yourself those things if you're really passionate about it. Use what you have and start making. Because the minute you start making, you start learning. And eventually, you'll get good enough to where you can, start moving up. Like you can start saving up to buy a proper camera and maybe a microphone and then maybe some lights. And it doesn't come overnight. It like takes years. Like to get where I've been now, it's like taken years to build up because you save up a little bit, then you buy something, and then you try and use that to make the money back. And that doesn't always happen. Most of the time, it doesn't. But yeah, so you start off small and don't feel I would say just don't feel intimidated by the amount of knowledge there is there. Pick something and just focus on it. Like the only reason I got into VFX tutorials was because I was watching, Grant from Lone Archer Films. I was watching his tutorials, and initially I just was interested in the opening sketches that he does. I found those funny, and I found those, oh, that's a cool effect. And I'd skip past all of the After Effects stuff, all that jargon, all of that screens. I'd skip past it until eventually I said, okay, let me try watching it. I can't even remember how I cracked that because it looked like an alien screen to me with all of those things. And then it's like you just start slowly and eventually you'll get there. You're always learning.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. It's like if you keep creating, like my first sort of film,
Yeah.
I actually shot it off on the iPhone, so
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't really have much gear. And honestly, like I saw you need nowadays, like iPhones
Yeah,
can
definitely.
shoot like pretty good quality for footage.
Slowly, yeah. That's all it takes. Slow, just patience and not rushing into it. Because what's the point of starting out filmmaking, your filmmaking career? Someone says, I'm going to start making movies. They go buy a camera, they go buy a microphone, they don't even know how to use it. So it's just sitting there. Let's just learn the things first. Learn exactly what these cameras can do. And then, maybe when you're ready, upgrade.
Definitely. So what's your favorite film
Yeah.
you create? I believe it's gonna be this one, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
probably this one. Even though I still have lots of issues with it. Um, but every film I make is like I learn
Definitely.
something new. So this one is basically the best that I can do at this level of knowledge. So I'll learn more now, and the next one I do will be the best I can do after I've learned all that I'd learned from the last one. So just the latest one I make is basically going to be my favorite
Yeah,
of all
definitely.
of them.
My new one's my favorite. I know like there's been some films that I buried away in their kept in their chest that's never gonna come out
Yeah,
and see
definitely.
or see the light of
No,
day.
no one
Yeah,
will
no, it's
see
not
it.
gonna. Yeah,
Never. They
yeah,
must burn. I have a few
dude.
of those
Honestly,
also.
like I have like a couple of them, but yeah.
Yeah.
So what's your software that you mainly use for this project?
This for this project I used Audacity to edit, which is a free program to edit all of the sound, all of the microphone audio, just to process that and to like do standard noise removal, equalization, all that stuff. And then I used Premiere Pro to edit it, and then I used the dynamic link function with After Effects in order to add all the VFX on it. But then I also used HitFilm to design the opening and ending titles, as well as the film actually opens with a brand new like Red Alert Productions short film
Oh, that was
intro
made in
basically,
headphone.
and there was like some
Oh wow.
yeah, that was made in HitFilm. Some 3D work was done there, so I used that. Where did you think it was made though?
Yeah.
I'm curious.
No, like I figured it was made off of HitFilm because HitFilm's a pretty powerful software.
Yeah,
Because I mean, I've done 3D work in that software, so
yeah. I find HitFilm is really it's way better to use 3D like just standard 3D work is way easier and way better to do in HitFilm than any other program. After Effects you need like add-ons like you need Element 3D or something, and even then it's a bit more difficult. So I used the Boris 3D text effect um in HitFilm, and I basically made my own 3D object like that and did all the animation and stuff for that as well as all of the opening titles. That's basically the
yeah,
software I used.
yeah. I
Yeah,
figured
those
that's
four.
open was made from HitFilm. HitFilm's a pretty powerful software, honestly. Yeah.
Definitely,
Um.
definitely.
So, I mean, what assets do you normally use for this project that you made? I know it's action VFX. Was there any more?
Yeah, so Action VFX was like a main collaborator on this project. I reached out to them to like, to see if they wanted to get involved, and they did. So all of the bullet hits, muzzle flashes, dust hits, smoke hits, basically, and the blood spatter, all of that came from Action VFX. The whole score and soundtrack was from Artlist. Um, those are the basic assets I used. Yeah, it's just the music and the VFX assets, and that just came from two collaborators: Artlist for the music, and Action VFX for all of the action VFX.
So this is gonna be a fun question for you. So if you had to direct any movie, they're like, oh, here you go. What movie would it be?
Batman. See how quick I answered that? Batman,
Yeah,
definitely.
yeah, that was pretty quick, man.
No, I thought about this. I want to make a Batman movie. Now, I know how that is because I'm so worried about this new Batman movie. I like the director. Matt Reeves is a good director. People were going really insane about Robert Pattinson. I don't mind that because people went insane for Heath Ledger, went insane for Christian Bale, went insane for Ben Affleck. They go insane for everybody, and it's like Matt Reeves is not an idiot. He knows what he's doing, so obviously he sees something, and I could sort of see it. I mean, I could sort of see him as Batman, but
I can see him.
I don't know. I want a really good comic book Batman movie that's not overly insane, that's not something super crazy. I want an emotional story. If I couldn't do a Batman movie, I'd do a Spider-Man movie. I walked out of the theater from Far From Home a little bit disappointed because once again it was just another big CGI Marvel mess of a movie. And I don't like that. I want something to be really emotional. I want Spider-Man like I actually maybe I'd want to make a Spider-Man movie now that I think about it more than a Batman one
Yeah.
because there's so much you can do with the Spider-Man character. I want more of an emotional story, like to really test him as a character. Like, instead of having a big, huge, like, explosion, sky beam, CGI mess of a thing that he needs to deal with, why not bring it down to, like, ground level? Why not just have him zipping around New York City, have some really cool shots of that throughout the whole movie, not just one sequence? He's, like, trying to balance school again, his girlfriend, being Spider-Man, and someone, now that everybody knows he's like, okay, spoiler alert for anybody who didn't watch Far From Home. Did you watch Far From Home?
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
I liked it.
So spoiler alert, for everybody who didn't watch it. Everyone knows his identity now. So they could use that, you know? Maybe a villain like knows his identity, comes after the people he loves, someone dies. It's hectic, it's sad, it's like depressing. He's like really down. He has to bring himself up. Something like that. That's grounded and realistic. Same for Batman. Like, Batman v Superman and Justice League kind of put Batman on this weird, really high up pedestal, and I'd want to just have a more gritty crime fighter, vigilante type of thing. Just realistic movies. And I feel like we started out in that with the Tobey Maguire movies and the Christopher Nolan movies. And after Marvel started up with, even Iron Man was kind of realistic. But after Marvel started into phase 2, they just became more and more wacky and crazy, which is okay for certain films. But now I'd want to take it back to like that realistic standpoint, which I'd have a lot of fun directing that, I would think.
Yeah, definitely. That's after all, that's where we start. Honestly, like a lot of the movies weren't CGI back then, but it's like we had to shoot like natural.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
Now, have you noticed how much CGI they use in these movies? Like,
yes.
it's an insane amount of CGI. Like, sometimes I'm wondering why. Why is there CGI there? Like, why? There's a shot I saw of Nick Fury. He's holding the gun, the tranquilizer gun, when he knocks out Ned in Peter's apartment, and half the battle is missing, and they CGI'd the battle onto the gun. It's like, you have like a $200 million budget. Can you not afford a tranquilizer gun prop?
I know, right?
Why must it be CGI'd? I don't understand. Spider-Man half the time is just a CGI model running around. So it's like, I don't know. It makes me feel like I'm watching a cartoon at times.
I remember, like, have you ever seen Dark Phoenix?
I did not see that one, actually.
Okay, it's not really a spoiler alert. You mind if I talk about it? Or
No, you can go ahead. I'm not sure if I'm going to watch it pretty soon, so.
Okay. So, like, it's not really a spoiler, but I'm just saying it out there. But there's, like, a specific scene where she's, like, falling down from Earth.
Mhm.
Like, they left the green in her hair. So, like, they didn't really properly key out the green screen. Plus, like, her hair's looking like she's just laying against the green screen. Yeah.
That's that's like, for a huge budget movie, you'd think they'd put a little bit more effort in.
Dude, when I saw that, I was like,
that's
oh
like
my
hectic.
god. Like, they never key out
Yeah.
the green screen.
And most audience members probably won't notice it, but because we do VFX, we're like, we can see everything.
Yeah, I
It's
know.
like, yeah,
I was like,
we can see that.
yeah, I was laughing when I saw that a little bit of it. I'm like, what?
And people will look at you like, why are you laughing? She's falling from space. It's like, no, look at her hair.
Look at her
Take
hair.
the green screen out. Oh my goodness.
Yep. So this is the very last question. Do you have any questions for me?
Okay, how about you ask your question, and in the meanwhile, I will think of one.
So are you in plans for any production wise, or are you thinking about like next year?
Right now, no. I'm kind of just waiting for an idea to come to me, because in my mind, I have a whole year now to make another short film. So, probably by the end of this year, maybe I'll start writing another one. But right now, I just want to focus on the channel, I would say.
Yeah, I'm doing the same also.
Do you have any other hobbies besides? This is my question. Like, what other hobbies do you have besides filmmaking?
Ooh. I like, not really a hobby, but I like to, hang out with my friends
Oh yeah, same.
and then watch movies.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Watch movies. Movies is definitely half of my life.
Yeah. And what are like?
Yeah, dude, that's...
What are like your plans for the future? For like your future?
Oh, so my plan for the future, obviously, will focus on my channel more, because I don't really upload on there more. And maybe, like, do
Yeah.
more podcasts, do more, like, tutorials and, like, filmmaking wise. And then come out with another short film next year, because I come out every year. That's what my goal is.
Yeah, same. No, that's respectable, dude. That's good.
Yeah. Well, it was awesome to have you on.
Yeah, I know, it was really fun. I really enjoyed it.
I've been a fan of your channel, so it's awesome to get to have a chat with you.
Yeah, I've been a fan of your comments, so same here. Yeah. Yeah, it was really fun.
Yeah, it was really fun. Thanks, man, for your time. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, dude.
Yeah.
I appreciate it as well.
Okay, that's it for this podcast. I'd like to say thank you so much for him to come on to the show. Of course, you can check out all the links below to find him out and check out his channel and his social media. So that'll wrap up for this podcast.